to the June housing update with my friend and colleague, Randy Williams from TBF Mortgage. Randy, let's just get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. So the question is what every buyer needs to know about home prices. Because, Randy, I don't know about you, but I get a lot of chicken littles like the sky's going to fall, prices are going to go to zero. You know, why should I jump in? So what's Bankrate telling us?
Yeah, buy now or wait. I think that's the question prospective homeowners have been struggling to answer in today's housing market. Home prices have been continuing to skyrocket. The Federal Reserve's work to tame inflation. It sent mortgage rates soaring. We know that. The combination has led to many would-be buyers sort of like that wait option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jessica Louts from NAR is saying what?
Homebuyers face the most difficult affordability conditions in nearly 40 years.
So remember, for you that maybe don't know that, affordability is interest rates, price, and wages. Mm-hmm. Jobs market is really strong. Yes, wages are up, prices are up, but they're not coming down. You know, we're not seeing the cliff coming down and them jumping over.
Not at all.
So what do we have to do? Let's talk about what Lawrence Yun is saying.
Astonishingly, greater than 90% of the country's metro areas experience home price growth despite facing highest mortgage rates in 2 decades. In the current market, rising prices are the direct result of insufficient housing supply, not meeting the full demand.
Right. And remember, we're a feeder market from the rest of the U.S., typically. Yes, we get a lot of people that move from Florida to Florida, to our coast, but, you know, they've got to sell something usually or downsize, rent it, something, you know, keep it to come our way. So what's Mortgage Report saying?
With the continued imbalance between supply and demand, home prices are expected to keep rising.
So all the analysts are saying they're not going down, which we've got 7 analysts here between Goldman Sachs and NAR. This was in April, Randy, this slide. I really like it. And I wanted to put up April to May because analysts move their projections month over month, you know, quarter over quarter. They're saying the average of the 7 is 3.2% increase for this year. Now, when we look at May numbers, it's a 3%. So it's down 0.2%. But I found some of it interesting, Randy, when I was looking at the numbers. 2 of them actually went up. So Fannie Mae went up by 1.6%, and NAR went up by 0.4%, whereas Goldman Sachs came down by 1.2%, and Freddie, the winner of them all, came down by 2%. So, you know, that just tells me that analysts aren't really sure, but they're pretty constant about where it's going to be as a 3%. That's not bad. What are you getting in your money market?
Yeah, 4.5%.
And you're not really getting asset appreciation over years, right? It's just, well, anyway.
Well, no, the one thing that you have to really step back and take a look at is everything here is a positive number.
Yeah.
Let's just start with that, right?
I love that. That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
So Lawrence Yun today from NAR, what's he saying?
In the current market, rising prices are the direct result of insufficient housing supply, not meeting the full demand.
Yeah. And let's face it, we have the millennials coming up. I know 2 of my boys own and one owns 2.
Yeah.
You know, one of their friends just bought a house. They're in that 25-year range. They're coming up. They're as big as the boomers.
Yeah, I think, you know, listen, you know, after the housing crisis of 8 and 9, a lot of the home builders went out of business. The population kept growing, right? But the building did not keep up with it.
Right.
So we're still stuck in that we have an enormous amount of people that want homes and we don't have enough for them. That problem's not going away anytime soon.
In the U.S.
It's
Absolutely.
not. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what does every buyer need to know about inventory? What's Bill McBride saying?
I always like to start with inventory since inventory usually tells a tale. I totally agree with that. I think you do too. And currently inventory is increasing year over year, but it's still well below the pre-pandemic levels.
Totally. And when you look at this particular slide, inventory is rising, but still low. If you look at the same week from 2023 across the U.S., not in Southwest Florida, we're up by 38%.
Right.
But when you look at it compared to 19, we're still down by 35%.
Right.
Plus, here's another slide that really shows that hockey stick of where we were kind of bouncing between 17, 18, and 20 as we started to come down and we're coming up. Now, the interesting thing with this map, Randy, that, you know, is, to me is year over year inventory changes in Florida, we're up by 70%. which is a lot. I mean, when you look at some of the places in the U.S. are 0 to 15, only a couple are, minus numbers. Nevada, I'm not good with geography, so maybe you can help me. South Dakota and Nevada. Hot and cold. I don't know how you get anything other than that.
Right.
If you're from those places and you want a place in Southwest Florida, Randy and I can help you, but I'm sure that you'd be able to sell your property easily. So what is Mike Simonson from Atlas Research saying?
After 2 years of higher mortgage rates, sellers are slowly coming back into the market. We'll continue to have gradually more sellers.
Agreed. And House Logic says?
Interest rates sure do get a lot of attention. Yes, they do.
Randy, you like the attention, but maybe not this kind of attention.
Yeah, we like better attention when it comes to interest rates. But they shouldn't be the only part of your home buying decision-making process. It's so true. It can't be. After all, the answer to the question, is right now a good time to buy a house? It boils down to whether the time is right for you. Like it really does. To start your new chapter, to invest in what makes you happy.
Right. And, Randy, we usually close every session with that very statement.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's go into the market here because people are always asking me. And here's a great slide, maybe a little detailed to read, but I want to show you year over year, Marco Island increased by 6.8% and Naples increased by 4.2%. Fort Myers and Cape Coral year over year. The Cape's a little bit down just because the rebuilding and restructuring and climbing out of Ian, as is Fort Myers, but there was a lot more in Fort Myers that was way far away from the storm. I mean, this was concentrated near the coast. So
we're seeing a lot of really positive indicators in both of those markets right now. I think those are a little bit lagging numbers. Yeah. I bet you in 3 months when we do this again, those will be a lot better. I think so too. Yeah. Now let's talk about this since 19. Yeah. Those same markets, Marco Island was up by 80% since 19. Crazy. Naples was up by 84%. Fort Myers and the Cape were up by 70%. We are sitting on a lot of equity if you've been in your home for any amount of time. We need a time machine. We need to go back. I love it. We go back, we buy more, right? I love that. The time machine. That's awesome. Yeah, if you bought during that time, awesome for you. Congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things I like to talk about here is the current market. And Randy, you've heard me say before, when I started, you could have a baby in the time it took me to sell a house, which was kind of crazy. We are across all of Southwest Florida edging up to a buyer's market, but still in a neutral market, except for one, and that is Marco Island, where we're, 9 point something months of inventory. As you look across, the scale kind of isn't the same in each one of these graphs, so it's a little deceiving. But everybody else is really under 7%. Yeah, I mean, we've both been doing this a very long time. We have seen insane sellers markets. We've seen insane buyers markets. It's pendulum. They shift back and forth. Interest rates do play a big part in that. We do expect interest rates to come back again, and it should balance a little bit back and forth. But I think for people that saw an insane seller's market, they're just adjusting to a normal market, and it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It's normal. It's normal. And I usually say, Randy, it's like coming off the freeway for me at 75 and getting onto 951. I feel like I'm in a parking lot. Yeah. Like I've been going 75 because I never speed. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And I have to go down to 45 and I'm like, whoa, what's happening? I feel that is happening with, our sellers. Our sellers are a couple of things going on. So first of all, they still kind of think they're back in those few years before where the prices were going up and up and up, and they're seeing some things active and not really looking at the closed. They all want to, not everyone, don't get me wrong, but some want to go and look at only the actives and not the closed. Well, I'm better than that house or this or that. So I want to tell you a stat that is really kind of astounding to me, and that is the number of properties that are expired, withdrawn, or terminated. And those are more. This is May over May for the last 5 years. There are almost double-ish from 19 to 2024 in those. So 2024 was 2,800, and 19 was 1,779, so 1,800. With 21 and 22 being 422 and 436. Yeah.
that tells me the health of the market. How quickly are they selling? Buyers didn't really have a time to really kind of breathe and see. And there's a stat I shared last month, 78% of buyers that bought in those crazy years are dissatisfied.
It was a pressure sale. And they took what they can get, a lot of the first-time home buyers especially.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And especially if you had to have a mortgage.
Correct.
Right? So I want to talk about this as a case study. I know, Randy, we've talked about this before, but this was an actual study because what I find now is agents want to buy the business. So they go in and they'll come up with some crazy numbers, usually not backed by anything real. And this particular case was somebody that chose a different agent than me. And they listed it almost 600 and some odd thousand more than I did. And here's what happened. They had the first price decrease, which was 10%. And then they had the second price decrease, which was 8%. And then they had another price decrease, which was 7%. Now, we know that if you list closer to the actual price that that the market is saying, you're going to get near that price. This property was listed at $3.85 million, and it actually sold for $2.6 million. And I went in with a $3.2 million offer. And after all this time, because they had it priced too high and they missed out on the high mark, they settled for less, which is sad. So seller beware of the agents that are coming in to buy your business. Make sure you get somebody that's reputable, that's been around a long time. Look at their track history. See what they're doing. Do they reduce to beat you down? I mean, is that the only time they're having a conversation? What's happening with that? Because you really want to pick, because it's kind of like getting married. You're going to, now in a normal market, you're going to come alongside that person for quite some time.
Well, I think each market is going to dictate pricing strategy. I think in every seller's goal is always going to be to net the most money. I know that that's your always goal.
Absolutely.
And the way you price homes due to that market are really going to help you hit that goal. I just think overpricing your home right now doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Never has.
No.
The market won't facilitate it right now.
No. So, Randy, that's my little 2 cents of, hey, seller beware. Here's what's happening. Is it time to move?
Whether it's a primary or investment, the numbers are all good.
Yeah.
They really, truly are. If you need a mortgage, obviously we'll have that conversation privately with you and sort of explain and help you with that. But I haven't seen one negative number since I've been doing these things with you for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's all positive.
So if you're loving, to get into someplace tropical, your piece of paradise, time to get back closer to your kids or get into something different, we're here to help. So as always, I'm Mary Bartos with the Bartos Group and
Randy Williams with TBF Mortgage.
Look forward to seeing you next month.